Thanks for staying up late for us and coming on to talk about this. We've wanted to get deeper into it, and your book is great because it's got all kinds of examples, and you've got music to go with it, and little mantras and stuff like that. And I guess to start off here, I want to kind of jump right into mindfulness as a tool and the power, and then we can kind of go backwards into your history a little bit and get into that. But I want to start with like kind of what Darren was mentioning, how, you know, what is mindfulness and how is it beneficial?
Oh, it's beneficial in a number of ways, but mindfulness has been sort of defined as paying attention intentionally. Sometimes like we have automatic thoughts, like thoughts come to us unsolicited,
Yep.
and they're not always happy thoughts, that they could be angry thoughts, irritated thoughts, disappointment thoughts. And with mindfulness, we are aware of these thoughts, and we can even change our state of mind, which is so important because we all want to have, like, we enjoy people who have a sunny disposition and who are positive, and we could be that person with mindfulness practice. That's my number one thing about mindfulness.
Yeah, I've sort of been touting, like, to be honest with you, it's been the most powerful meditation style for me. And I used to say to people, I'd go to like group meditations and, meetings and stuff like that. I was even in like 12-step programs and this and that, and mindfulness or meditation would come up. And for me, it was like practice of being in the moment. And then when I started reading your book, it sounds like that's kind of how you're describing it as well.
That's kind of what I thought it was, is just being in the present.
Yes, being in the present, as opposed to being in your thoughts. In your thoughts, being in the, like, our thoughts could be about the past. Memories are thoughts, kind of thoughts. It could be about the future, anticipation. Even anxiety is a kind of made of thoughts about the future. So being in the present, like right now, it's beautiful and white in Montreal. The snow is beautiful, and it is often always beautiful around us if we take the trouble to look around the sky, the people we're with, our environment. Really, really beautiful. And being in the moment, we're able to enjoy all this.
Huh, that's interesting. So there's a direct because I appreciate the littler things in life now, for sure. Over the past few years, like looking, outside, and when I'm lying in bed, sleeping in, and the sun shining in, or there's like little things, the birds, whatever it is. And I guess what you're saying is there's a direct correlation with the ability to stay in the moment because you're noticing these things, and that is because, in some ways, mindfulness helps you do that.
Yes, that's the mindfulness mantra. Be here now and come back to your body, because the body is my home, because the body is here now. My mind could be somewhere else. So when my mind is with my body, with my breath, then my mind is also here. They are together, which is the basic idea. Yeah.
So, what in your past decades of research here and teaching all these people to watch their thoughts, and you mentioned it at the beginning here, how thoughts come unsolicited. Where do these thoughts come from? Like, is it just a mix of? I mean, we could speculate. We talk about all kinds of crazy stuff in Grimerica. Like, you could be connected to some sort of collective unconsciousness or consciousness, and then also I guess it comes from your epigenetic past, that type of thing.
Well, I think thoughts are basically generated by your state of mind. If you're in an angry state of mind, you'd keep having thoughts like, how could she do that to me? Or she's so mean. And if you're in a, positive, say, full of gratefulness, you'd say, oh, I really appreciate what she did to me. She's such a nice person. I'm really glad she's around. I think there's a different, real correlation between your state of mind and your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. So how do you change your state of mind then?
Well, indirectly, you can't change it directly, but you can change it indirectly by filling your heart with positive emotions, with positive thoughts. Like, for example, this show, I could think of it with anticipation, with hope that it'll be a wonderful show. I could think of it as a joyful occasion, or I could think of it, oh, what a drag! What kind of thing is that going to be? Maybe it'll be terrible. Like having positive thoughts about it makes it a pleasure. It makes it something to look forward to, and I do that by thinking positive thoughts about it, and that really puts me in a good mood.
Yeah, but you make that choice, right? Like
Yeah,
you have the awareness to make the choice, right?
for sure, for sure. But now that is a state of the second stage of meditation. The first stage is being aware of your thoughts in the first place,
Yeah.
which is not always the case. Like how many times people say to somebody, "Why are you so angry?" And he'll say, "I'm not angry." But everybody in the room can see that he's angry, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows it except him. So yeah, once you're aware of your thoughts, then it's possible to make a change.
Because
So what'd the first step be?
well, is the awareness, right? Watching
As soon as
probably,
you're
right?
like when you find yourself in a
Yeah.
bad mood, just go to your happy place.
Well, the first step in meditation is like when I have these 8-week sessions, for several weeks, we practice watching the breath, watching our thoughts, sort of disengaging from the thoughts so that I am not my thoughts. Like my mind is not entirely thoughts. It's like the sky, the cloud is not the sky. My mind is like the sky and thoughts are like the clouds.
Uh-huh.
So the first step is not to identify with the thought, not to be the thinker, but to be the one who observes the thoughts. It's a big step. It doesn't come easily. Like in an 8-week session, we spend maybe 4 weeks just doing that, just sitting and watching our sensations, the breathing, thoughts, state of mind, and so on. And then we have sort of the tools. We're able to make the transformation, that change. But that first step is really essential.
Are you there, Graham?
Yeah. Yeah, no. I totally agree with him, right? It's like something clicks when all of a sudden you start to be aware of your thoughts and you can really see like when you can come back to the moment. Like you feel yourself slipping in and out of the moment and you can catch yourself a little bit sooner. Like for me, I was meditating in a group last night and I couldn't focus on my breath for more than like 5 or 10 seconds and I was thinking about something. But the time that it takes me to catch that and come back is way less than it used to be. Like it used to be, I could go off for like 5 minutes, in dreamland and la la
Never
land.
come back.
But now I catch myself a lot quicker.
That is, you described it perfectly.
And
That
then you
is,
just get to poof or nothing.
that's a stage everybody goes through, and sometimes that's the first time they've noticed what a busy place the mind is, And I have to tell you that there are people who think that it's meditation that causes this, and there are people who come and never don't come again. But
I see what you mean. Yeah.
But it's the first time they become aware of it because they've never, sat quietly and observed the mind. So meditation just makes you aware of it. It doesn't cause it.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for like I got my friend to do some mindfulness meditation the other night, and she was really surprised at how relaxed she got. But I didn't clarify the difference between different meditations. Like, there's a big difference between just doing a guided meditation and you're kind of using your visualization and following somebody's voice down, some garden path to some magical crystal city or whatever, compared to just sitting there quietly and watching your thoughts. But it got her really relaxed, and it reminds me of what Eckhart Tolle used to say about, or what he said in the last couple of books about worry, right? How so many people worry about things, and really, you can think about that thing that's worrying you, but you don't have to worry about it, right? You can accept worrying is really just putting yourself in the future. It's not, so you can't really become present and worry at the exact same time. So how do people get out of that negative frame of mind when they're maybe they're just learning how to meditate and they still kind of get stuck in that negative feedback loop?
Yeah. Well, you know that according to psychologists, about 40% of our disposition is inherited. Like, some of us have sunny dispositions, and you know that with babies, like, some of them cry forever, and some of them smile a lot and don't cry so much. And so some people are sort of winners at this genetic lottery, and the others, this is the question: are they stuck for life with their less sunny disposition?
Yeah.
And the answer is not, if they practice mindfulness meditation. That gives you a handle on being able to change your default state of mind, default thoughts, default whatever emotion.
Yeah. So is that kind of what you're when you talk about brainfulness in your book? Is that just that's your thinking, right?
The thing that now you're getting into a very, very interesting subject, very close to my heart. What I mean by brainfulness is that the brain has its own interests and biases. Like, it's an organ, like your stomach has its own biases, interests. It's basically eat, right?
Yeah.
And
survival based, I'm guessing. That's my guess.
Survival based, yes. And more than that, I mean, you look at our hockey games, it looks like tribal warfare sometimes, and there's the brain, like, traditionally, especially with guys, win the contests, aggression, dominate, be the alpha male, get the girl. I mean, millions of years of evolution and caveman stuff, and the brain still pushes us toward these things. So being mindful is kind of being aware of these tendencies. And I give the example in the book. For example, when I go to the gym, my brain tells me, park close to the door so you don't have to walk so much. Now, that's funny, because I go to the gym to exercise in the first place, right? So listening to your brain messages with a grain of salt is not possible without mindfulness. Without mindfulness, people hear their brain tell them something and they say, "Amen. This is it. This is absolute truth." I mean, look at all those guys, all kinds of violence. The guy who went to Parliament Hill and started shooting, I mean, his brain told him to do that, right? And he didn't question it. He said, "Okay, I'll do it,"
Yeah.
So this is also part of what I mean by brainfulness as opposed to mindfulness, not listening to everything your brain tells you.
Which I suppose everyone, or most everyone, I suppose, can do to some extent, right? Like, everyone gets those fleeting thoughts that they just disperse.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
your boss or this or that, and it's just taking it to the next level, I guess, of doing that over everything.
Yeah. Well, this is a big issue in psychology and psychotherapy. Like, if you're a depressed person,